This evening we have two public hearings. Public hearing number 1, ordinance establishing sanitation rates for the town of Batesburg-Leesville. And I will open the public hearing at 7:01. Do I have any speakers? If there are none, at this time I will close the public hearing for ordinance establishing sanitation rates for the town of Batesburg-Leesville. Public hearing number 2, ordinance to sell property owned by town of Batesburg-Leesville located at Sheely Road, Sullivan County, Leesville, South Carolina. I will open this public hearing at 7:01. Are there any speakers? If not, I will close the public hearing. At this time, I'd like to call to order our meeting for the town of Batesburg-Leesville. It's a regular council meeting agenda. Thank you, everyone, for being here June 13th on a very, very hot day in South Carolina at our People Town Hall Complex. Item number 2, invocation. Pastor Kent Suits, if you would lead us, please.
Thank you, men and women of the council, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity to be here. My prayer will be guided by Proverbs chapter 1 this evening. Would you pray with me? Father, you have told us that to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to youth, that we should hear from you and increase in our learning. And the one who understands obtain guidance, to understand a proverb and a saying, words of the wise and their riddles. For the fear of the Lord, you have told us, is the beginning of knowledge, and that fools despise wisdom and instruction. Lord, would you help us this evening to care about wisdom and instruction, to be men and women who would seek after the Lord and your word as a guide to truth and a guide to all knowledge and wisdom. I pray that especially for members of this council, that they would fear you above all else, and that they would learn from your word, which is your truth, and that they would let it guide them into all instruction, so that we might see righteousness, justice, and equity achieved, and that the simple would be made wise. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Item 3, Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Olin Gambro.
Let us stand, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Item number 4, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Crouch, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hall. Any discussion? District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
I wasn't here, so.
This will be the agenda, ma'am.
But today?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The agenda has been approved. Item number 5, adoption of the minutes. We have two meetings, a meeting and a work session to adopt. This would be a motion for the regular council meeting on May the 9th, 2022. Do I have a motion to adopt those minutes?
So moved.
Mr. Hall, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gambro, do I have any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Wasn't here.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The minutes have been, motion passes. Council work session, June 1st, 2022. Do I have a motion to adopt those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Prowse, and my second is Mr. Hall. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 is going to abstain.
4,
Yes.
5. This would be for the work session on June 1st.
I wasn't here.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion passes. For the mayor's report, our next regular council meeting will be July the 11th, 2022. Council committee reports, Central Midlands Councilman Bob Hall.
Central Midlands COG Board met Thursday, May 26th at the airport campus. We did have a quorum. Major items discussed and voted on were a revised budget for 22-23. A copy of the summary sheet is attached to your report. Voted to amend the 2045 LRTP to add additional funding for the intermodal transportation hub. This is a site to be determined that will consolidate all of the transportation forms into one station: Greyhound bus, rail station, and Comet, all in Columbia. Heard a presentation by the nonprofit Brooklyn Lakeview Empowerment Center. Heard a presentation by Mrs. Anchetta, the director of the new South Carolina Department of Transportation Office of Government Services. Copy of the handout is attached, and briefly discussed Kershaw County's possible withdrawal from participation of COG. Our next meeting will be Thursday, June 23rd.
Thanks, sir. Environmental Planning Advisory Committee, Councilman Jason Prowse.
EPAC did not meet in the previous month. Our next scheduled meeting is July 20th.
Thank you. Common Advisory Committee, Councilman Steve King.
Thank you, Mayor. I did not attend the last meeting of the comment. I do know, I've spoken with Mayor Barry Walker, that one of the big issues is the increase in fuel for the service, and so we are working on the Finance Committee, so we're working to make adjustments so that we can keep the buses running. Also would ask council to consider a work session so we can decide, or maybe during the budget work session we can decide whether we're going to have a comic service this coming year here in town. I see the bus stops are up, but we have not addressed that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Joint Municipal Water and Sewer Commission did meet. The budget was passed just shy of $20 million, 3% increase in retail, and record flows this week, I would imagine because of the heat, or this last week as things warm up. Item C, BL Chamber of Commerce update, President Mike Taylor. Welcome, Mr. Mike.
Mayor, members of council, this will not be a South Carolina Chamber of Commerce week, it doesn't look like. But in the hundreds, beginning of the week and in the hundreds towards the end. So, as I reported last month, we had the South Carolina Poultry Festival Golf Tournament, Chamber Golf Tournament on Friday the 13th. I'm happy to report it was a lucky Friday the 13th. We didn't have any rain until later that night. I hate it for the Poultry Festival. At the same time, I want to thank the South Carolina Poultry Festival Committee, the town, and all the many volunteers that made that 3-day period a very successful time and brought so many people to our community. Your chamber, the town of Rich Spring, and Edgefield County Chamber of Commerce planned and advertised for the Peachtree 23 yard sale each year. By all accounts, this was successful too. I didn't see maybe as much traffic as we did like in 2019, but I was in the Leesville district, and it was pretty heavy from maybe 7 o'clock to like 12 or 12:30. So, and after about 2 or so, I went down in the Batesburg district, and they still had some activity there. So, and they're reporting strong activity in Rich Spring and Johnson and Edgefield. Next major chamber event will be the annual auction, which will be held on Saturday, August 20th at Tennis Farm. Arts on the Ridge is planning to have an event October the 23rd. It will there again be music and artisans and food trucks there, but we haven't finalized everything. At this month's Economic Development Committee meeting, we learned that Lexington County submitted a request for a grant from South Carolina Department of Commerce. This grant will provide partial funding to clear, grub, and grade a pad on Lot 1, which is the largest remaining lot in Batesburg-Leesville Industrial Park. This would provide a shovel-ready site. This might take maybe a year and a half to get done, but the wheels are at work, so that's something the EC's been working on. Of course, Councilman Brigham has too for that site, so that's good news. I wish you were here, but I wanted, in recognition and honor of many years of service to our community by Chief Oswald, the Batesburg-Leesville Chamber of Commerce and Business Center has provided a scholarship to Hania Mendoza, who's a rising senior at Batesburg-Leesville High School, to attend the Nathan M. Wolf Law Enforcement Cadet Academy, which will be held June the 20th through June the 26th at the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. I personally have been affected with Chief Oswald as far as him living next to my mom and father, and we lived in that house for a brief time when they were there, and the impact that he may have had on Hampton growing up and working with the town and riding the police car and so forth. And I know I'm going to put a cart before the horse, but later I see that we have an introduction of the new chief, and I couldn't help but say that he was instrumental in training my son through coming through the Lexington County. So I'm blessed to know both of them well and appreciate their service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Mr. King?
What is the plan for Midlands Technical College? I know you have been a part of that. Are they going to offer full classes in the fall?
Not to my knowledge, for the same reasons they hadn't done it in the past, because what they can offer there due to the facilities that are there, that would be first and second year things, and all of those are offered pretty much at the high school.
Yeah, but
I understand where you're coming from.
Not everybody is at the high school. There are people who can take first and second year courses in the community that's not in the high school. Some kids have matriculated through and didn't go to college. So it's really disappointing to me that, we got a multi-million-dollar facility, and yet it seems like the people who are in charge, so to speak, or that are leading this the Midlands Tech Committee refuse to reach out to other people in the community. Everybody not at the high school. You got people out here, you got adults who can utilize college credits. So I'm not understanding why that building is vacant and why the focus is so much on what's going on in the high school.
I agree with you in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's not my money that's being spent. That's been
all our money.
The
tax money.
Their money, but whatever.
Yeah.
But you have the number to the president. I understand. So you're welcome. I know when we have our committee meetings, advisory committee, that the high school, the churches, town, everybody's involved when we have our meetings, and input is in there. I'm just one person. I agree with that. I'd love to see it full of students, and we advocate for that, Councilman King, but right now it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand what you're saying, but when I talk to Ron, he wants to work through the committee, and that committee over the last 5-10 years, if you cannot get kids or people in this community into that, it seems like we need to rotate the committee a little bit. If the mindset is that we can't do it because the kids are taking the same classes in high school, and you're not willing to do community outreach, that's a big problem. The same people that's on that committee are the same people that were running things at the high school, and in my opinion, they have retarded the growth of this community with the high school, and they're doing the same thing with Midlands Tech. We can't get the kids that we want in there, so we won't open it up to the rest of the community. So, when is the next meeting? Because
I was fixing to say,
Yeah.
Drew, I'll certainly let you know, and I'll see if I can get you on the agenda, okay?
that would be wonderful. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Ms. Pat, do we have any public comments this evening? Thank you. Moving to unfinished business. Item A, second reading of the ordinance establishing sanitation rates for the town of Batesburg-Leesville. Do I have a motion to adopt second reading?
So moved.
Mr. Prowse, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Wise. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes no.
District 4, District 5,
I didn't get it, so no. I didn't get the package, so no.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes. Second reading of ordinance to sell property owned by the town of Batesburg-Leesville located at Sheely Road, Saluda County, Leesville, South Carolina. Do I have a motion to adopt second reading?
So moved.
Mr. Prowse, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hall, any discussion?
At some
Mr.
point,
Kane?
we need to see how many offers we entertain on that property, because I fear that there were only a limited amount of offers that were actually accepted. And we've had several people call to say, I wanted to bid on it, but they said they had a contract on it and that they were going to have a meeting. So it looks like it was a truncated process in selling that property. So I'm not at all in favor of it. And I would definitely like to see all of the offers and inquiries that came in before we kind of have dealt with only 2 or 3 people.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Any other discussion? District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes no.
District 4, District 5,
Don't have no information, I don't know. No.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes. Moving to new business, we have a proclamation for the National League of Cities Small Cities Month 2022. Let me find that proclamation. Take me just a second. Almost. Thank you for your patience. Proclamation National League of Cities Small Cities Month. Whereas small cities and towns under 50,000 population are the home to millions of Americans and constitute the vast majority of municipalities across the United States. And whereas small cities and towns strive to strengthen their communities through the provision of services and programs to improve the quality of life for all citizens. And whereas the federal government is an essential partner in the success of small cities and towns and must be encouraged to continue to support programs and legislation that strengthen small communities. And whereas state governments are partners in the success of small cities and towns and must be encouraged to continue to support key programs and legislation that strengthen communities. And whereas organizations, businesses, and citizens are partners in the success of small towns, cities, and towns, and must be encouraged to continue to grow their efforts to make small communities a viable choice for people to live in. And whereas during these challenging economic times, the need for a renewed intergovernmental partnership to support essential public services is more important than ever to ensure the safety and growth of small town America. And whereas the National League of Cities President and the Small Cities Council of the National League of Cities have declared June 2022 as Small Cities Month. Now therefore be it resolved that the Batesburg-Leesville Town Council does hereby proclaim June 2022 as Small Cities Month and encourages President Biden, Congress, state governments, organizations, businesses, and all citizens to recognize this event and to work together this month and throughout the year to invest in small cities and towns to better the lives of all citizens. Do you have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gambro.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hall. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yeah.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes. Item B, in new business, manager's request for town to recognize an employee. If you would.
As Mr. Taylor had noted, Chief Oswald is not present tonight. He had a family commitment, with family being out of town for Father's Day. They elected to do Father's Day tonight. So without him here, we will move forward with this resolution. Are you wanting me to read the resolution?
I can read it, or you can read it, whatever you want to do.
Doesn't matter to me. All right, so this resolution honoring Chief W. Wallace Oswald. Whereas Chief W. Wallace Oswald was hired by the town of Batesburg as a patrolman on March 15, 1976, and whereas Chief Oswald was promoted to Chief of Police on May 19, 1979, and whereas upon the consolidation of the towns of Batesburg and Leesville into the town of Batesburg-Leesville, Chief Oswald was appointed as the first Chief of Police of the new town. And whereas, after 46 years serving our community, Chief Oswald announced his retirement from the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department. And whereas, Chief Oswald graduated from the 147th session of the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia. And whereas, Chief Oswald was recognized for innovations in South Carolina law enforcement by the University of South Carolina for being the first agency in South Carolina to transition from revolver to an auto pistol. And whereas Chief Oswald led both Lexington County and South Carolina by becoming the first chief in the county to begin a juvenile arbitration program and one of the first agencies in the state to issue bullet-resistant vests. And whereas Chief Oswald was a pioneer in law enforcement by mandating the videotaping both breathalyzer tests and through body cameras in the Batesburg and later Batesburg-Leesville Police Departments, well ahead of any legal requirement to do so. And whereas Chief Oswald initiated both narcotic interdiction and tracking programs for K-9 officers within the Batesburg and later Batesburg-Leesville Police Departments. And whereas Chief Oswald faithfully served our state and nation in the armed services, attaining the rank of Command Sergeant Major and being awarded the Bronze Star with Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for service in Operation Iraqi Freedom and while serving in Afghanistan. And whereas Chief Oswald was awarded the Order of the Silver Crescent by Governor Mark Sanford in 2010, and whereas Chief Oswald was selected as the 2016 recipient of the Strom Thurmond Award for Excellence in Law Enforcement, and whereas Chief Oswald was honored with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Association Lifetime Achievement Award in December of 2021, and whereas Chief Oswald was instrumental in the creation of and the modification to the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department shooting range, including partnering with the town of Lexington in installing programmable movable targets, operator tower, and other upgrades mostly built by his hand on his time. And now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of Batesburg-Leesville hereby names the Batesburg-Leesville Police Department shooting range in honor of Chief W. Wallace Oswald. And let it be further resolved that the range shall heretofore or hereafter be known as the Chief W. Wallace Oswald Shooting Range. Dated this date, 13th day of June 2022.
Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Mr. Gambrell, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Prowse, any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yeah.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Resolution passes. Thank you, Jay, for reading that.
Those out there.
Item C, approval of mutual aid agreement between Batesburg-Leesville Police Department and Saluda County Sheriff's Department as presented in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Prowse, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gambrell, any discussion?
Okay, what's this about?
Jay, you want to give us a quick?
The mutual aid agreement?
Yes, sir.
So it is just an update of the existing mutual aid agreement, which basically allows our officers to go to Saluda to assist and their officers to respond to us. Saluda recently had a new sheriff elected, and then we were implementing the new police chief, so it just needed to be updated. Nothing has changed content-wise, it's just updating it with new signatures.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Mutual aid agreement has been approved. Item D, acceptance of results from the May 24th, 2022 special referendum election. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Mr. Hall, do I have a second? Second by Ms. Lemon. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Point of order, Mr. Canberra.
Do we have a date as to when we're gonna start,
It's not on the agenda, sir. Yeah, sorry.
Hold on, what y'all talking about?
No, I don't know what he's talking about. Whatever you're talking about, it's not on the agenda.
Whatever you talking about.
There's nothing on the agenda.
Don't
know what you're talking about. Motion passes. Item E, first reading ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2022-2023 town budget. Again, this is first reading. Do I have a motion to adopt first reading?
So moved.
Mr. Prowse. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Wise, any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Kane?
Again, in our budget this year, we don't have funding for the common. And we also, at some point, have to recognize that some of our employees make less than people who work at McDonald's. I think the lowest salary is like $10 now, is that right, Jay?
I think it's higher, but I don't know the exact number.
Okay, so we
I want to say 12.
well, okay, so we need to, many people starting off at Walmart at 15, 20. So at some point, we have to adjust our budget so that we can have our employees make a living wage. We also need to look at the healthcare package for them. I know at one point we were paying the healthcare, but at some point we started to have them contribute to healthcare. I also think that we need to look at how we recruit and retain police officers.
Let's stick to the budget, please.
Okay, what did you think I was talking about?
You got into staffing, sir.
Okay, is that part of the budget, the staff?
You were looking at recruiting, sir?
Okay, but did
Mr.
you
Kane?
if you let me finish.
Mr. Kane, continue.
Okay, so, Jay, when we're looking at recruiting and retaining officers, as we do our budget, we also need to look at raising the minimum officer salary. High 30s, low 40s, to be able to get the best and brightest and to keep the best and brightest in town. So, and the last thing is that I had talked to Teddy about Subtext. You familiar with that, Jay? And yeah. Okay, Subtext is a company that will send out text information, text messages to our citizens about events, any type of, everybody's not on the reverse 911. So anything that's going on in town, we can shoot them out in text, a text blast. And I think it was right around $4,000 for the year. And that's not in the budget, but as we go into the second reading of the budget, I definitely would like for us to take a look at those items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second for the first reading and ordinance adopting the fiscal year budget for 2022-2023. District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes no.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
I haven't had time to complete the reading, so I'm not gonna vote.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
No.
and Mayor votes yes. First reading passes. Item 10, manager's report. Mr. Hendricks, if you would.
Hello again. All right, so I want to introduce to you our new police chief, Darren Amick. It is our pleasure to introduce him tonight. Chief Amick began last week and is currently working with Chief Oswald and Assistant Chief Vault Knight with the transition. Chief Amick will officially, I guess, he's already been sworn in, but officially July 1 will be his red letter day. Chief Amick has extensive experience in law enforcement, having served his most notable roles with Lexington County Sheriff's Department as Lieutenant of Narcotics / Task Force Commander, Captain of the Captain Region Commander, Captain Headquarters Commander, and his final position with the Sheriff's Department was as Major of Operations. During his career, he has also served as Chief Investigator with the 11th Circuit Solicitor's Office and as an instructor for the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. Chief Amick attended and graduated from the prestigious FBI National Academy, as we mentioned earlier, at Quantico. It is our pleasure to introduce Chief Amick. He will be around after the meeting tonight, so that you can have a chance to speak to him and get to know him. So let's welcome Chief Amick.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay, I have a question about the
Mr. Kane?
selection process. Now, is it my understanding that every candidate went through and met with the board that was screening the candidates? Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Everybody did that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Next item, just a quick event update. We did start our summer movie series last Friday night. Our first movie was a good success. It was Encanto. Not my strong point, but it was perfect weather. We had about 90 to 100 people that attended, great number. It was, again, beautiful weather. Our next event is July the 8th. If you enjoy the Sing movie, Sing 2 will be on tap. So if you got some young ones, bring them on out. That's going to be at Leesville College Park. And then August 5th, a little football theme, Invincible, will be showing at Panther Stadium. We hope to have the football team out there, kind of a meet the Panthers, and the movie following. A couple project updates Teddy wanted me to pass along. Pine Street corner parking intersection widening took a big step over the past 2 weeks. The poles were removed and the intersection, and the DOT crews worked last week to move the storm drain and pave the new turn lane. Highway 23 resurfacing began today on the western end of the town, right near the county line, and is working this way. So they're going to go back over what was just paved and provide a nice smooth surface. They will most likely be painting all the lines and having it open for business very soon. The wastewater treatment plant improvement projects continue to make progress. The new screw pumps have been installed since the last council meeting. The new rotary press has been placed in the building, and a new roof has been put on the screw pump building. The headworks project is getting close to completion as well. And then as for the joint municipal project, survey has been completed and the engineers have received the files to begin laying out the route. Property for the water tank and pump station is close to being purchased and due diligence has been completed. Again, that's joint municipal making that purchase. Engineers have begun work on the site plan for that location. That work is being done by joint municipal and Hazen and Sawyer. Anybody have any questions about this?
All of it?
Mr. Kane?
Well, I was going to touch on the financials next, but those are those updates.
All right. Two things. One, would love to have a movie in the park in my district, on the Batesburg side of town. You know, we kind of get right heavy. So.
Having a good venue is a challenge.
Well, the Twin City Park is there, and we'll make sure that it's
Wilson Street doesn't have restroom facilities.
well, we got restrooms at Twin City Park, and I'm sure that when we get the grass cut and make it available for anybody that wants to come down in that district. And The second thing is that you guys did a good job with that curbing for where the Jones Jury was. That looks really good.
All that credit gets to go to DOT, so.
Well,
I wish I could say I.
Did you stay on top of it and with that work? Yeah.
The manager loved to do that. He did aggravate it, I can attest to that. So.
It looks good.
Thank you. Just taking a quick look at the town financial, just a quick run through the current account balances. General fund checking, $1,553,88.52. The police donations account is at $20,399.18. Fire department 1%, $22,535.49. Municipal court, $30,712.04. And victims assistance is $3,723.56. So the non-utility funds total is $1,630,458.79. Utility fund checking, $432,058.35. Utility fund reserve, $767,888.35. Capital improvement project and impact fees, $1,933,116.49. USDA debt service reserve is $564,851.44. The American Rescue Plans funds, $841,471.38. And then the infrastructure revenue bond still has $1,663,084.74. So all utility funds are $3,697,914.63. Hospitality checking, $562,639.88. So total balance for all the funds is $5,891,013.30. We have those balance.
The hospitality funds with the reception looming, how's that affecting that fund?
We have noticed over the past year or two, the numbers have been very strong. They've continued to go up, even with the pandemic. I don't have all the exact numbers, but
So now when the prices go up, does that tax?
it was based off of that final price. So yes,
So we're making a little more extra.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're paying $10 for your Happy Meal, then you're paying 2% of that $10, as opposed to the $5 to make it.
All right. So now, do we have a plan to reinvest that extra money that we weren't expecting back into our communities?
Well,
Back to school, things that will help these parents who are paying a little bit more for the groceries and the hospitality items that they're purchasing.
well, groceries are not included in hospital.
Well, I mean,
But,
yeah.
That's ultimately going to be on council, but the engineering projects that have been in place are being completed, the projects behind me. Ultimately, that would be the reinvestment in the community.
Are we tracking the extra money that, because I know we have projected.
We track each restaurant that reports money, we track that.
The total fund, I mean. So can we see how much we were expecting versus how much we actually got?
Yes.
And then we'll know.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can track each month with the actual revenue that's received. It is on the spreadsheet for each restaurant or bar or whoever's reporting it, gas station. They're all individual by month.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Mr. Hall?
Jay, there are two line items that are beyond the purview and control of the council. One is police donations, and the other one, of course, is fire department 1%.
yes.
The control of those funds do not rest with council.
Yes.
I understand, is there an oversight for those funds?
I don't know about the police funds,
Are you familiar with any oversight? I know you've only been here a week too.
The oversight is always being handled by the chief. That's at this point, that's where we're at.
I can say from the fire department side that the 1% account is monitored and audited by the South Carolina Firefighters Association.
The question was triggered by the fact that the donations to the police department doubled in 1 month. The checking account balance went from $10,936 to $23.99. Do we have a limitation on how much a citizen could give to the police department? So as to avoid any appearance?
It's a very good question that I don't have an answer for.
Okay, it's quite possible with the chief retiring that there were donations made in his honor, but it's an interesting question. Although council has no specific authority over that account, but if possible, it could make public the dollar amount of donations. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hendricks.
Okay.
We have no executive session this evening. Item 13, potential agenda items for next month's meeting. Do I have a motion? Mr. King?
Yes, we definitely need to put the comment discussion on whether we're gonna fund comment or not on that agenda.
State your, if you would just state that motion.
Discussion on the comment.
Okay. Motion by Mr. King. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Lemon. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and Mayor votes yes. Motion passes. Are there any other motions for potential agenda items for next month's meeting, July 1st, 2022?
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I have a first and a second. Any discussion? District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
District 3 votes yes.
4, 5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Since you adjourned, I was negative, and then I say she wanted me to tell all of y'all she hates not being in line, and she wishes all y'all well, and she's doing better, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mike.
Judy.
Ms. Judy.
Jay.
My kids messing around town.
Jay.